What if I told you that prosperity doesn't start with your bank account, your job, or your social status, but with your faith? You might be thinking, but I've prayed, and I've worked hard. Why isn't it showing up? Here's the thing. Psalm 18 reveals the untold secret of prosperity. It's not just about material success. It's about aligning yourself with the divine power of God, who answers your prayers and opens doors where you once saw only obstacles. In this powerful psalm, David declares that faith is the key that unlocks a life of peace, security, and victory, no matter what challenges you're facing. You might be wondering, how can you tap into this? The answer lies in the trust you place in God's promises. By praying with unwavering faith, you invite His power to transform every area of your life. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a proven principle. But don't just take my word for it. When you declare your faith and pray, you open yourself up to the miraculous. Are you ready to see the transformation you've been waiting for? Let's dive into the secret Psalm 18 holds for unlocking the miracles of prosperity in your life. When life feels like an unending struggle, it's easy to feel stuck, like victory is something meant for others, not for us. But Psalm 18 speaks directly to this. It promises prosperity, liberation, and victory, even for those in the most difficult battles. David's words are a reminder that no matter how steep the climb or how dark the valley, there is always hope for those who trust in God. He promises that through faith and prayer, we are not only delivered, but raised up into a position of victory. In the moments when it feels like nothing is going your way, Psalm 18 provides the reassurance that God sees your struggles. It's not just about escaping hardship, but about breaking free from the chains that bind us and being granted strength to overcome what seemed insurmountable. It's a reminder that your victory is not defined by the size of your obstacles, but by the strength you have in the one who stands with you, ready to deliver you from all adversity. Just think about the times you've faced a tough situation, perhaps a job loss or personal challenge, and in the midst of it, you turned to God in prayer. You didn't just wish for things to improve. You trusted that He would help you navigate through. Psalm 18 invites you to look back on those moments, to see how God's promises were true and how He worked in your life. And as you do, you're reminded that no matter what you're going through today, victory is still within your reach. Have you ever faced what seemed like an insurmountable obstacle, only to have it suddenly dissolve before your eyes? That's the power of God at work. Psalm 18 shows us that no matter how locked up the doors may seem, God has the ability to open them. He can transform situations that look hopeless into opportunities for growth and success. When you're feeling trapped, it's often a sign that a breakthrough is just around the corner. Life has a funny way of throwing obstacles at us, doesn't it? Sometimes it feels like every turn we take presents a new challenge. But remember, obstacles are often just the disguise for the opportunities God is preparing for us. When you pray with faith and trust, you invite God's power into your circumstances. And that's when He can open doors that no one thought were possible. It's not about removing the struggle. It's about transforming it into something new, something better. Take a moment and think about a time when a door seemed completely closed. Maybe it was a relationship that seemed beyond repair or a career path that was blocked. But somehow, by holding on to faith, you found a way through. That's God at work, turning obstacles into stepping stones for your growth. With God, what once seemed like a dead end becomes the path to something greater. The real question is, what door is God waiting to open in your life right now? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to overcome challenges with ease, while others struggle despite their efforts? It often comes down to declared faith. It's not just about believing in your heart, but about speaking it out loud and declaring that God's power is at work in your life. Psalm 18 teaches us that faith, especially when spoken, opens pathways to prosperity and liberation. It's like a key that unlocks doors we never knew were there. The power of prayer is deeply intertwined with this faith. When you pray, you're not merely asking for something. You're tapping into the divine energy that can shift your circumstances. Prayer is a declaration of faith, a way of aligning your spirit with God's will and invoking His transformative power. It's in those moments of heartfelt prayer, when you truly trust and speak from the depths of your being, that you invite God to take action in your life. Let's bring this to a practical level. Think about the times you've faced a challenge that felt too big to handle alone. Maybe it was an illness, a financial struggle, or a relationship problem. When you prayed with true faith, something changed, didn't it? Doors began to open, peace started to settle in, and new opportunities arose. That's the power of declared faith and prayer at work. It's not magic. It's a divine process that invites God's will to unfold in your life. The question now is, how will you declare your faith today? David's words in Psalm 18 are more than just poetic. They are declarations of absolute trust in God's unwavering protection. He calls God his rock, fortress, and deliverer, images that symbolize strength, security, and salvation. In a world full of chaos and uncertainty, these metaphors stand as pillars of hope for anyone facing adversity. When life seems to be crumbling, knowing that God is your fortress can bring an unparalleled sense of peace and confidence. Think about the strength of a fortress, impenetrable, steady, and firm against any attack. That's how David saw God in his life. He didn't just view God as a distant figure, but as the very foundation of his safety and protection. Whenever the storms of life raged around him, David stood firm, knowing that God would always provide a place of refuge. This isn't just a nice image. It's a reality that can be experienced by anyone who trusts in God during their toughest times. We all face moments when we feel vulnerable, whether it's dealing with personal struggles or facing external challenges. In those times, remembering that God is our rock can make all the difference. It's like having a solid foundation beneath your feet when everything around you is shaking. And just like a fortress, God provides a secure place to rest, where we can find safety and renewal. But here's the real question. Are you leaning on your fortress when challenges arise, or are you relying on your own strength? When we think of prosperity, the mind often jumps to material wealth, money, possessions, status. But Psalm 18 teaches us that true prosperity goes far beyond the physical realm. David's understanding of prosperity encompasses peace, security, and victory, things that cannot be measured by bank balances or external success. It's a deeper, more holistic kind of prosperity that impacts every area of your life, from relationships to your spiritual health, and even your emotional well-being. Imagine living a life where peace is your constant companion, where you feel secure no matter the circumstances, and where victory is not just something you experience occasionally, but a way of life. That's the prosperity that Psalm 18 promises. It's the kind of prosperity that doesn't depend on what you have, but on what you've gained in your heart and soul. And the best part? It's available to everyone who chooses to walk in faith and trust in God's guidance. For instance, think about someone who may not be wealthy by the world's standards but has peace in their heart, strong relationships, and a deep sense of purpose. That's prosperity in its truest form. It's the victory over fear, anxiety, and doubt. It's the inner peace that comes from knowing you are secure in God's love and promises. True prosperity is about living with a sense of fulfillment that transcends material things. Now, ask yourself, what does true prosperity look like in your life? The key to unlocking true prosperity isn't found in external achievements or material gains. It's found in trusting God with every aspect of your life. Psalm 18 reveals that God's promise of prosperity is tied directly to our willingness to place our trust in Him completely. This is not just a passive belief, but an active, unwavering trust that God hears your prayers and has the power to free you from the difficulties that stand in your way. It's easy to get caught up in trying to control everything, isn't it? We often think that our own efforts will lead to success. But true prosperity comes when we surrender our struggles to God and trust in His timing and provision. The prayerful act of releasing your burdens to Him opens up the space for divine intervention. It's in this space of trust that God works miracles, turning trials into testimonies and obstacles into opportunities for growth. Consider a time in your life when things felt completely out of your control. Maybe it was a financial crisis, a relationship struggle, or a health issue. In those moments, trusting God and surrendering your worries to Him can be the key to finding peace and resolution. Just like in Psalm 18, where David declares that God freed him from his enemies, trusting God allows Him to work in ways we can't even imagine. The question is, are you ready to fully trust God with your struggles, knowing that He will provide the answers you seek? When you're in the midst of a battle, it's hard to see beyond the pain and struggle. But Psalm 18 reminds us that even in our darkest moments, God remains faithful. No matter how fierce the fight or how heavy the burden, God has the power to turn the tide and lead us to victory. David's life was full of battles, both physical and spiritual, Yet he always knew that God would bring him through stronger than before. And the same is true for you. It's easy to feel like we're losing when life throws challenge after challenge at us. But the truth is, every challenge is an opportunity for God to demonstrate his faithfulness. In those moments of struggle, if you hold on to trust and keep your faith strong, God can transform your difficulty into a story of triumph. Your battle isn't the end of the road. It's just the beginning of a new chapter where God shows his incredible power. Take a moment to reflect on your own challenges. How many times have you faced a situation that seemed impossible, only to look back and see how God turned it around? Whether it was a personal loss, a financial struggle, or a health crisis, if you trusted in God, you've likely experienced firsthand how he can bring you victory. With God, no battle is ever in vain. But the real question is, are you ready to trust him to turn your current battles into extraordinary victories? Now that you've discovered the profound secrets of Psalm 18, it's time to take action. Are you ready to apply this powerful teaching of faith and prayer in your life? Imagine the doors that could open, the peace that could settle within you, and the victories that await when you fully trust in God's power. It's not just about wishing for change, but taking the step of boldly declaring your faith and inviting God to work miracles in your life. What battles are you facing today that could be transformed by prayer and trust in God's faithfulness? Take a moment to reflect. Where do you need God's intervention? What area of your life are you ready to surrender to his power? I encourage you to pray with unwavering faith today, knowing that prosperity and victory are waiting for those who trust in him. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you can continue learning how to transform your life with God's divine wisdom. Together, we'll explore more ways to live with faith, purpose, and abundance.